Okay, cool. So it looks like the record button's just started, and so now that our call's started, Jenna, interestingly enough, I haven't been down to the beach today. I usually make my way down to the beach at some point because here in Perth, I'm only a block from the beach, and Perth has some of the most beautiful beaches, and I can get out there and jump into the clear blue water and splash about and get the sand between my toes and look up and see the clear blue sky and the blue water and be able to hear the wind brushing through my ears and the gulls squawking and all that stuff, and it's really quite nice out there. So nice day out there today too. So I'm sure I'll make my way over there soon. And what I'd like to explore with you today, Jenna, is I'd just like to go through really just to open up the table, to open up this conversation for you, and just to allow you to feel like you can speak freely and openly with whatever you would like to share. When sharing information, to make sure that you get the most from the sessions and that I'm providing the most value, it's valuable to try not to go off track too much on, I guess what I would say, if let's say that I said, how was a particular experience? And then we spoke about the experience for half an hour, or you spoke about it for half an hour, we'd end up chewing up, half of the call time. So what we're more looking for is some real specifics. So when it comes to NLP and hypnosis and the type of coaching that I provide, we do share stories. We do get into kind of opening up certain areas that are important to work on. But what I would more like to pinpoint and more like to pass over to you is to give me a little bit of an outline with the areas that you want to talk about, that you think are necessary to talk about, because there can be a bunch of our past that is that's relevant to an extent, but maybe not relevant to the type of breakthroughs that you're wanting to have so far. So what I'd like to ask you just initially at the start of this call is, what outcome exactly would you like to, or do you think that you would like to achieve from our coaching session? So what is your exact desired outcome that you would like to have? What is your goal as a result of these coaching calls?
My first number one goal would be to get my compulsive overeating under control. Sorry, if you hear some background noise, that's my very young 3-year-old son. My husband will come and attend to him in a minute. The number one goal would be to deal with the compulsive overeating bit. It's left over from my bulimic phase, I believe. I have to work on that. Secondly, I would like to work on negative emotions and processing them a bit more. And I think we can leave it just at those two for now.
Okay, sure thing. So the compulsive overeating, and the other one was very specifically
overcoming negative emotions, and like my thought process around like my body image and stuff like that, like all the negativity that I have in that headspace.
Okay, great. Thanks for clarifying that for me. So overcoming negative emotions, and some of them are related to body image, and then we have the compulsive overeating. So those are the areas that you would like to overcome. Thank you for sharing. And what I'd like to ask you is let's say that Jenna had moved past those areas and that she had gotten to a place where she would want to get to. How would Jenna describe that place that she had reached? In other words, it would be almost the opposite of what you just shared. So it would be, instead of compulsive eating, it might be healthy, balanced eating. That doesn't consist of huge binges and then huge restrictions. Instead, it's balanced eating day to day. And then the other side might be, I have a balanced, positive outlook day to day. There's some negativity, but mostly positive. and I have a pretty balanced outlook towards life and towards the experiences in my life, and including my body. So how would Jenna describe the desired outcome?
The desired outcome would be being mindful in my natural habits of eating and in thinking, and being mindful in my actions, so that when I'm choosing healthier thoughts or healthier eating habits, that it is like on a subconscious level, is not forced. And also, like, to have like a sense of peace in my home around like this eating, this overeating, and hopefully that will subside. And also, like, when we do things like going to the swimming pool, or when I take my kids to the playroom at the gym, so that I can enter into those type of circumstances without having all of the negativity and the self-thought and all of that put into the situation.
Okay, fantastic. So, so your desired outcome is you would like to feel more mindful towards the way that you think about yourself and your body and about your eating, and having healthy habits established that are balanced, and actions that are subsequent of those thoughts. And you would like to have some peace around that and around the eating as well, and that you would like to be able to go to a swimming pool, go to the gym, and rather than having negative self-talk going through your head in whatever form that is, or negative thoughts, you would rather have balanced positive thoughts. Is that right?
My connection cut out for a minute there. I'm sorry. That is exactly what I was hoping for.
Okay, fantastic, Jenna. Yeah, I'm sure the connection will cut out every now and then, but that's okay. We've got we put aside an hour for these calls, so and I also get a little ding when the connection cuts out for you, so I know when you've dropped out. So that's okay. So what I'd like to ask you, Jenna, is I'd like to ask you to just play a little game with me here, and just imagine that has already happened for you, that the outcome that you've just shared with me has actually already happened, and that you're mindful in the way that you think and you eat, and you're really positive towards the way you eat, and that you have really positive self-talk when you go to the gym or the pool. So what I'd like you to do is just to just humor me for a moment, and to just repeat this sentence. And just repeat the sentence, and then let me know how that feels to you. So just repeat the sentence back to me, and then let me know how that feels to you. So the sentence is, I feel mindful towards my eating and thinking. I feel peace around my eating, and I'm positive around when I go to public situations like the pool or the gym.
I feel mindful around my eating and thinking. I feel at peace with my eating and thinking in situations when I go to the pool or the gym. Did I get everything? And
yes.
I feel happy when I say that. I have a smile on my face, and I feel delighted. Could you bear with me one moment? I think part of the reason why we're cutting out is that I have notifications from my Facebook groups cutting in, and I just want to go over and turn off those notifications. And next time we have these conversations, I'll have the knowledge to do that beforehand.
Sure thing. This is where I need the interjecting music. Or I could just sing.
Hello?
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back, Jenna. So, awesome. And so, that sentence, and you don't have to, of course, prescribe any particular sentence specifically the way I did, but when you said that sentence that I'm mindful of my thinking and my eating, and I have peace around my eating and my actions, and when I go to the gym or the pool, I have positive self-talk, and that put a smile on your face, and that felt good, yeah?
Yes, that felt awesome, Nick.
Okay, cool. All right. So Jenna, did you notice how easy it was? How easy it was to literally in that moment as you described that experience to yourself as if it had already happened, as if that was your current reality. Did you notice how easy that was to feel good about that, about your body and about your eating?
Yes, I did actually. It was instantaneous. Like just as even when you were saying it, a smile already had crossed my face.
Absolutely. Fantastic, Jenna. And that's what I'd like to share with you and just reach out to you. And as you listen to me now, I'd like you to really just grasp and to take control of the realization that, in fact, things can be that easy. We can make shifts very quickly in just the way that we think. Because if you're able to make that shift just from as you say that, then and you say that sentence as if it is already true, your mind and your body and your being actually follows through as if that was already true. And that's why you got that feedback signal, which was you got the smile on your face, which is through your physiology, and you felt good, which is the emotions as a result of that. So can you see how easy that is to make that shift?
Yes, I can. And additionally, I am a big believer in the power of positivity and the power of self-projection. I think those are two very important things to hold dear to your heart. So I'm gung-ho, and I feel just awesome about this, and I feel just awesome.
All right. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. I do notice that your voice cuts out slightly at the end, so sometimes I'm wondering if you're still wanting to get back on and say something else. But no, that's great. I'm just trying to get used to the early cutout of the call of your voice. So that's okay. Um, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to now open this up to you, Jenna, to now that we've kind of established the outcome that you're wanting specifically, and we've got a really clear sense almost in your head that you can plant that in there back into the back of your mind and have that listen, have those sounds become really crisp and have that visual, whatever you see as that impression of what you want to be true, really sit into your mind very clearly and have that grasp and that really cemented inside of you so that that particular outcome that you desire is going to it's almost as if it's already true. So, but even realizing that now, what I'd like to invite you to do is to open up the conversation over to you and for you to share with me as much or as little as you feel comfortable as far as areas that are important to what you think is important to share with me as far as your past history so far. So areas of importance that you want to share, areas that you think are of importance that need addressing. I just want to open it up. You can start as early as you want. You can go back really far, teenage, childhood, further back, or you can start as more recent. It's completely up to you. So I'd like to just pass it over to you, Jenna, to just share with me what you would like to share so far about, I guess, your past history so far. So I'll pass it over to you now.
Okay, I'll just touch on some things briefly because I do have a terrific support group, and I'm working with some wonderful therapists and counselors and addiction counselors and just a whole. I'm really well supported right now, but I think it's good for others. delve. So, firstly, I have some childhood sexual abuse that happened to me at a very young age while I was in foster care. So I also have a few abandonment issues around my parents with who are wonderful supports to me now. I have I have a mental illness. I have bipolar disorder and PTSD. There is a misunderstanding in the diagnosis because we're not sure if it's true bipolar, which would be hereditary, or if it was drug-induced. Drug-induced, now the word slipped my mind, I'm sorry. It means like when you're delusional and psychosis, drug-induced psychosis, and the PTSD that was firing up. I have two wonderful children that are preschool and elementary school age. I have a loving, wonderful, supportive husband who's been by my side through everything, through thick and thin. And I'm working currently with addictions counselors. I'm working on EMDR therapy, which is eye motion rapidatory to sensory or something. I'm not sure on the title, which is going to help me clear up some of my past issues. I also work with a mental health therapist. I'll be working with you on the eating disorder topic, and I have a pattern of self-harm and obsessive compulsive exercising and restricting and bulimia in my past. I'm currently 8 years free from bulimia, from purging on a daily or multiple daily basis. I haven't, I fell off the wagon a few times, so there were a handful of days here and there where I was purging, but I was quick to pick myself back up, and now I'm dealing with compulsive overeating, and additionally with some involuntary vomiting that happens in stress situations or where I'm feeling extremely triggered. This is something I'm going to work with my GP, my general practitioner doctor, on in the future, but I will keep you updated to let you know how that's going, because I do feel that that is a severe complication due from the bulimia.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
I'm very, very positive and enthusiastic, and I'm a thriver and a survivor of all of my issues. To me, I'm in a position where I really, really want to overcome, and I'm in a position where I have a lot of support and a lot of help and a lot of willpower, and I really feel positive about this adventure. And from what I've already learned from your ebooks and from your videos that you've made available, that this is the exact thing I need in my life right now, and I just want to thank you again for taking the time to work with me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jenna, and I appreciate you putting yourself forward and putting yourself out there as being one of the potential candidates for the case study. And so here we are now. Here we are. So thank you for sharing that. I would like to ask you. You said that is you really want to overcome. You really want to overcome. Let's say that. Let's just be real specific, because I know you're working with other people. So when we work together, Jenna, let's say that we are specifically focused on XYZ. So let's say that we're specifically focused on the body image side, the negative emotions around body image, and very specific towards the compulsive overeating or the way that you feel towards the eating side. So let's be really specific about those two areas.
That sounds awesome to me. That's exactly what I would like to achieve in my limited time with you as well. So that's absolutely perfect.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay. Well, let me ask you. You said that you really want to overcome these areas. What does Jenna think right now? What does Jenna think has actually been the main thing that's been stopping her from overcoming the negative body image and the compulsive overeating?
I think that my inability to live in the present moment, it has a great influence on this. And I also think the fact that I've repressed a lot of my feelings, and instead of reaching out for support or, looking up information or being 100% truthful with coaching and counselors and therapists, that I've just been blocking my feelings and stuffing them down with food.
Why do you think that you weren't truthful with therapists in the past? So why do you think that you weren't truthful with therapists in the past?
I also think that I wasn't ready to be honest and truthful. I really honestly feel now that I've come forward with so much about my eating disorder, and I'm so willing to work on it, that it's a different place and people are treating me differently. But I felt a lot of self-consciousness towards it, and it was very secret to me.
Okay, sure. And why do you feel like you're ready now to move forward and to work on these areas?
I'm in a really good place. I have two wonderful children and a wonderful husband, and I really want to be successful in my life, to be a role model for my children, and also to be a support to my husband instead of always being the one who needs all of the comforting and support and help. I want to actually be more giving in their life.
Okay, sure. And what do you think it would take in order for Jenna to be more of a role model and more giving?
I think I'd have to be more mindful and more healthier in my thoughts and in my actions. Hindsight's 20/20, and a lot of the times after the day is done and I'm laying in bed and I look back and I reflect on my actions and my words, and I can see that I'm driven by thoughts that are deep rooted and that aren't very current.
Okay, so you pull yourself out of the prison and start living in thoughts that aren't in the now.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thoughts in the now. I love that.
Okay, so you mentioned that in order to be a better role model, you need to be more mindful. What would being more mindful do for you?
Being more mindful and more accepting of myself and my body and my eating and my not eating, like when I'm full or whatever, would make it easier, like at meal times, when I'm preparing for my family their meals, and there's a little bit of an intensity in my home around meal times. I have one son who's a very picky eater, and I'm always trying to force him to eat enough so he's getting enough nutrients and everything. And I have one son that is a very, very healthy eater, and I'm always concerned, is he eating too much? And it is unnecessary to have these thoughts. They're little, they get lots of exercise, they're very healthy, and I would like the tension in the room at mealtime to be abolished.
Okay, let that tension to be abolished. And tell me, Jenna, what does being mindful mean to you?
Being mindful means to me being actively present in the moment, reacting to what is currently going on, not reacting to what I think is going on because something else happened in the past. Also, being mindful means to me a sense of peace and a sense of security.
Okay, sure. And where would that security come from if you were to have it?
That security would come from inside me, from feeling happy and confident and secure, and being able to have some pride in my choices and in my thinking.
Okay, what is there anything stopping you right now from having that pride in your choices and your thinking and having that security inside you now?
Yeah, but I can't really put into words what it is. I haven't looked at it very closely. Even this conversation that we're having now is pretty new to me, and I'm emitting things and having thoughts that I haven't been open to before. So we'll have to explore that a little more. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you right now. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, everything is always exploratory, and that's one of the reasons why I believe that a lot of people have breakthroughs as they explore areas that they haven't explored before, and sometimes in the exploring that they gather and the awareness that they gather from the exploring actually creates a lot of the breakthroughs and the turnarounds. So just bear with me. Let's say that, for example, that Jenna did know what would create that security inside of her, and that she did know what would create those feelings for her. What do you think they would be if it was just a guess, the first thing that came to your mind now?
Well, the first thing that I was thinking about when you asked me, I was actually envisioning Christmas time. I do a really big Christmas feast at my home for my family, with all the fixings. And on that day, doing that big feast, I'm really at peace with my compulsive overeating. I do not really overeat on Christmas because there's just an abundance of food and treats and everything you can imagine, desserts. Like I make enough to feed 100, and we only usually host 12. That moment where I'm just content at the table, and I'm content with my plate full, and I'm content with my family, and I'm not in a pattern of binging and restrict. That moment, that feeling right there, that would be success for me.
Okay, and if you could extend that feeling of success, that feeling of security, that feeling that you get of contentment and of peace in that moment in Christmas Day, if you could extend that to every day, to every moment, to every waking moment of your present now, how would that change your life? How would that feel for you?
That would feel absolutely awesome. I'd be very content, and there'd be a sense of peace in my home from my children and from my husband, and we have guests over for our guests, and it would probably in turn move into other areas of my life, because then I wouldn't have all of the guilty and negative thoughts after the fact that sometimes inhibit me from enjoying moments that are further on in the day.
Yes, I get you. Moments further on in the day, like the moment that you're now looking outside and looking within that experience and being able to observe Jenna in the kitchen or in the lounge or at the table with the boys as you're feeding them, and as you're watching your sons eating that food and watching one of them eat less food, one of them eat more food, and having those concerns, as you're watching yourself now as a third person looking inside that room, being able to observe what you observe and being able to observe the thoughts that you're having without having to feel the feelings. As you observe yourself in that experience, would you say that is an experience that the thoughts that you're having and the way that Jenna is feeling in that time, would you say that is an undesirable experience, that you would rather replace that with the feelings and the experience of what you get on Christmas Day?
Most definitely. I would trade
Oh, we just lost you there for a minute. Need to make sure we're pushing your button.
I think I am pressing my button. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, okay. So you said that if you could replace that, that would, did you say that would mean the world to you or something like that? Still can't hear you at the moment.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that would definitely be awesome. That would be completely awesome.
Okay, Jenna. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to just imagine for me now. I'd just like you to imagine for me as you step out of that picture that is at the end of the day and you're feeding your kids, and as we imagine that, just step out of that picture, just turn the video so that you can't really hear it very well, that you're looking at it now from almost from the ceiling or from a different perspective where you can see yourself, you can see the children, and as you're watching them, you can just observe. And as you observe, I just want you to observe the thoughts that's going on in Jenna's mind, observe the feelings without having to feel them yourself because you're actually outside of it and you're just looking in. And I want you to make a couple of adjustments. Just over the next moment, over the next 1 or 2 minutes, I would just like you to get some clarity on these three things. So over the next 1 or 2 minutes, I'm not going to talk. Over the next 1 or 2 minutes, I'm just going to get you to get some clarity on these three things that are going on in that picture at the end of the day, or in that experience as you're viewing it out from outside of the experience. So as you view it, I want you to notice the feelings that are going on, the feelings on your physical body, and also.
Okay.
And I also want you to notice the sounds that are going on, any noticeable sounds, either from the kids or from outside, or sounds inside your voice. And I also want you to notice any thing that you can see. So notice what you can see, notice what Jenna can see, and notice what you can observe from being outside of the experience. So just over the next 1 or 2 minutes, I'm just going to pop back in a moment. Over the next 1 or 2 minutes, I just want you to observe the feelings, the sounds, and the sights, what you see. Okay, I'm just going to let you do that for the next 60 seconds. Okay, Jenna, how did you go with that?
Pretty good. Would you like to know the thoughts and things I was seeing, or is that just for me to have the knowledge of? Okay. I could hear silverware on the table and on the dishes clinging and clanging. I could see my children putting food in their mouths and chewing the food. I could also see my one son pushing the food around on his plate and picking out the food that he doesn't particularly favor. I could see my husband mostly enjoying the meal and kind of a little bit distant from all the tension. I could see myself struggling with eating, mostly struggling with the thought that I'm eating too much and that I'm eating too fast.
Okay. Okay, sure. There are some very valuable things. Did you find that a valuable process to go through to notice what was actually going on there, being a third person looking into that experience?
Yeah, actually, I never removed myself from the circumstances and from the situation when we were eating before, and I wasn't really aware of how I was struggling with my own thoughts about how fast I was eating.
Okay. And what sort of awareness did that bring to you around having that awareness around those thoughts?
I'll definitely be able to be more mindful tomorrow when I have breakfast, to slow down and to chew my food and to really taste my food. And I think that's going to provide me with the opportunity of feeling full and recognizing that, because sometimes I don't recognize that I'm full until my stomach actually hurts that I've eaten so much.
Yes, okay, excellent. Great breakthrough to have. Okay, so Jenna, what I'd like to now explore with you, I'm just going to ask you some off-the-wall questions, if I haven't already. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to get some details with that picture that you just spent some time observing and hearing and listening to, and really and maybe getting a grasp of some of the feelings that were there. So what I'd like to ask you is, as you think about that experience, was that experience as you were viewing it, is that black and white or is that in color? Color.
Very, very vivid, almost technicolor.
Okay, really vivid. Wow. And was that if you could kind of almost imagine that as being a picture, was that really close to you, the picture, or was it really far away?
If I was in an art gallery and I was viewing it, it would probably only be like a foot or two away from me. I was very up close.
Okay, really up close. Excellent. And was and you said Technicolor, so does that mean that it was a really bright image? Was that really bright for you?
Yes, definitely bright.
Okay. And what was the picture itself? Was it directly in front of you, or was it up to the top of your mind, or to the left or right of your mind? Where did you see that?
It was right in my eyes, like right at my eye level.
Okay, so like almost right in the center.
Yes, right in the center of my face.
Okay, and you said that it was almost like viewing it as an art gallery. It was really close to you. It was very near. And the size of that picture, was it life size? Was it almost bigger than you, or was it quite small, as if you're looking at like a painting in an art gallery?
It would be like looking at a mural on a wall, like very, very big, and the people were probably as big as me. Like myself, I believe I was bigger than my actual self now.
Okay, well, excellent. So it was very large, and so I do believe I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to just ask you again. Were you looking at that picture through your own eyes, or were you looking at it through someone else's eyes?
I was looking at it through myself in like a third person. Like I was another me.
Okay, sure, yeah, okay, sure. And did you find, you said it was Technicolor, but the clarity-wise, the focus of that picture, was it really focused and clear, or was it quite blurry and defocused? Focused.
It was very crisp, and the lines were very sharp and very clear.
Okay, excellent. And was the focus changing, or was it steady? Like, did it stay the same? Was it the same clarity with that crisp and clear, or did it become blurry over time at all?
No, it was exactly the same the whole time.
Okay, great. And you mentioned that it was like a mural on the wall. Was that like a framed mural, like a framed picture, Or was it more like panoramic, like as if it's actually a panoramic scene around you?
It was more like panoramic, but I didn't feel like there was anything in my peripheral vision. I felt it was just directly in front of me.
Okay, interesting. And was that a movie playing, or was that like a still image?
It was more like a movie. There wasn't a whole bunch of movement, but I was aware that people were chewing.
All right. The kids are chewing. And were there any sounds that were important? You mentioned some clangs and stuff like that. So were there some sounds that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I could hear like the fork and the knife scraping on the plates, and I could hear myself chewing and swallowing quite rapidly.
Okay. And could you hear any thoughts from yourself at all, or were they coming from somewhere else?
The thoughts were coming from my person that was watching. The thoughts weren't coming out of the Jenna that was sitting at the table doing the eating.
Okay. And they were, and as Jenna was sitting there at the table, so you had the clangs of the silverware, and you had also had
that just sent a shiver down my spine. You saying the clanging of the silverware just sent a shiver down my.
Okay, sure. All right. Okay. And what direction was the silverware clangs coming from? Looking from that as a third person, they're coming from the left or the right of Jenna, or where were they?
Both. I was sitting at the head of the table, and to the left of me was my youngest son, and to the right of me was my oldest son, and I could hear both of their plates and their silverware.
Okay, sure. Okay. So it's almost like it was all around you.
Yeah, kind of like surround.
Okay. And that was the most noticeable sound for you, more than the sounds inside your head.
Yes, that was, like I was trying to say, when you said it back to me, it actually sent a shiver down my spine, and I'm holding my iPhone in my hands, and my iPhone started to wiggle a bit because my arms were involuntarily shaking.
Oh, yes, I noticed that. And were the noises, were they quite loud? You mentioned the clanging. Were they loud, or was it soft?
They were the normal light sound that it makes.
Okay, sure thing. And was that what I want to ask you, were there any feelings that are important? You mentioned there were a couple of kind of things that you felt there. Are there any important feelings that you want to share that you noticed there?
Like sadness and dismay. I felt like there was sorrow there.
Okay. And whereabouts did you feel those feelings in Jenna's body? Were they chest, head, stomach?
I think it was all encompassing, and it was more on the Jenna who was sitting at the table eating. It was like gloomy. She was feeling gloomy.
Okay, and the feeling. So there was no particular area of the body that those feelings, the gloomy feelings or the sadness was. That was actually encompassing her whole body.
That's correct.
Okay, sure. And were those feelings, were they quite light or were they quite strong for Jenna?
They were very strong.
Okay. And did they get stronger and stronger as the time went on, or did they get weaker, or did they stay the same?
They stayed the same.
Okay. All right. Sure thing. So, Jenna, what I want to ask you now is can you think of a belief which is no longer true? Before I asked that, actually, I was actually feeding some purple monkeys down at the beach just yesterday. Have you ever seen purple monkeys?
No, I have never.
No. Yeah. I'm kind of playing with you there. That was just I just wanted to break things up a little bit.
I totally fell for that, Nick.
Yeah, I do that. I do that from time to time. So yeah, play with me here. So what I want to ask you, Jenna, is can you think of a belief which is no longer true for you? So like it might be that you used to be a smoker, or someone who was a smoker, they used to believe they're a smoker, but now they no longer believe that. Or it could be someone who used to own, a 1985 car and they believe that that was a new car, or that they no longer do, or maybe they used to believe that they were, maybe there's the belief that you're no longer 18, or 15 or 14. Do you have something like that which used to be true for you, which no longer is?
Sure. I used to be a feature dancer in Canada, like an exotic dancer, and I used to have a lot of notoriety and fame from it, but it's no longer true. And now my body shape has removed me so far from that point that it is very real to me, that distance.
Okay, sure. So that distance, as you think about that old belief that's no longer true for you now of being a dancer, do you have a picture?
Yes, of my old
Okay.
self.
Yeah, yeah. And is that picture black and white or is it color?
It's color again.
Okay, and is that really close to you, that picture, or is it quite far away?
It was further away.
Okay, and is it a really bright picture or is it quite dim?
It's more like a watercolor, so it's a little bit dim and a little bit blurry.
Okay, sure. So it's definitely out of focus. And what's the size of the picture? Like, is it the size of you or is it smaller? Like real far away small?
Not really far away, not like a thumbprint that you would see on a computer, but it is more like a photograph, like a normal, like 8 by 10 type of photograph.
Okay, sure. Okay. And what's the location of that picture? Like, is it directly in the center of your mind, or is it top left or bottom right? How's that appearing for you?
It was in the center, but it was skewed to the left a bit. Like, if center is 0 degrees and complete left is 90 degrees, it was probably at like 45 degrees.
Ah, yes, okay, 45 degrees. Excellent. All right, interesting. And are you looking at that picture through your own eyes, or are you looking at it from a different perspective?
I was looking at it like I'm viewing it.
Okay, so almost like you're viewing the picture. You're viewing the picture from outside yourself rather than viewing it through, like, say, Jenna's eyes. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, great. And so the focus, you said it was really blurry. And does it get more blurry over time, or does it stay about the same blurriness?
Actually, it completely disappeared. I had the vision, and when we started to discuss it, my mind just went blank and I had no more vision.
Okay, great. Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, just thinking back to that picture, did you notice that there were any sounds that were important?
No, there was no sound. It was just me on stage, and there was nobody else, and no sound, and not really good focus.
Okay, great. And were there any feelings that were important for you during that time? Did you feel any feelings as you noticed that picture?
I felt happy. I felt warm.
Okay, happy and warm, sure. And where did you feel those happy and warm feelings in your body? Were they in your chest or stomach or head or through your whole body? How did they come to you?
In my upper body, like in my torso, from my shoulders to my hips.
Okay, sure thing. and from your shoulders to your hips. And what was kind of like the size? Was it bigger than your torso? Did it kind of reach outside your body, or did it stay within the same?
It kind of filled up my aura. I'm not sure if you're familiar with auras. It's kind of like an energy field that's around you that's only 4 to 6 inches larger than your body.
Yeah, 4 to 6 inches larger. Yeah, I'm familiar with aura. Excellent, excellent. And what was that intensity like? Like, was it really quite a strong feeling, or was it quite dull?
I believe it was quite strong because I'm a little bit cool, and when I envisioned it, I felt a heat, like an actual warmness.
Interesting. And did you notice that warmness? Did it get any stronger or any weaker at all as you noticed that? Or did it stay the same?
I believe it.
Oh, you cut out there for a second.
I believe it grew. Like, I got a little bit warmer, and then it disappeared altogether, the vision and the feelings.
Okay. All right, interesting. Well, Jenna, what I'd like you to do is just don't think of, whatever you do, don't think of purple pineapples.
It was purple monkeys.
Oh, did you think of purple pineapples when I said it, though? When I said don't think of purple pineapples? Apples?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm just playing. It's obvious that whenever we say don't or shouldn't or can't in front of anything, that our mind automatically thinks of that thing. So when we make commands, it's important that we make very specific commands that we want to think of, rather than I don't want to think of, or I don't want to have this. We're better off to think of here's exactly what I want to think of, or here's exactly what I want to have. Anyway, so without getting off track, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just bring up the picture now again, Jenna, of when you were in the kitchen with the boys and you're observing yourself. Just bring that picture up on the end of the day. Can you bring that up for me now? Yeah.
I can. I'll just clarify to you that our dining room is separate from our kitchen, just for future reference. And yes, I can reimagine that.
Okay, thank you. So I would be describing your dining room then, yeah? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the clarification. So what I'd like you to do, Jenna, is I would like you to just notice that picture of being in the dining room with the boys at the end of the day, and I'd like you to just push that picture out. So, and don't push it as far as being like a postage stamp far away, but just push it out so that it's quite a distance away. Can you do that for me now?
Sure. At first, when you said this, I replaced the thought with an activity that's completely different. But now I see that you just want me to step back so that it's much smaller. So I have a small picture in my mind about the size of a photograph, like a 4x6. Is that the size you're looking for?
It's any size. So there's no specifics. So I'd just like you to follow through with me now as I say these things, and just do these things in your mind as you listen to me now and you hear my words. I'd like you just to notice that image now that you've pushed it back further and it's further away from you. And I'd like you to now make it dimmer. So turn the brightness down. So it's not really, really dim, but it's just kind of lost the technicolor and it's gone dimmer and dimmer. And as you notice it become dimmer, I just want you to shift that picture so that it's going from the center over to the center left, almost at like a 45-degree angle. And as you push it over to that 45-degree angle, I want you to take the picture size. I know that it was quite large, and I want you to shrink it down so it's small, so that you actually know that it's small. And as you know that it's small and you're shrinking it down there, and now that it's shrunk down, I want you to take the focus. I know that it was really clear for you. I want you to take the focus, and I want you to, just as if you took a jar of Vaseline and smudged it all over it, and it becomes completely defocused and blurry and really blurry. So I just want you to just almost rub that Vaseline all over it now and make it really, really blurry and smudgy. And as you make it all blurry, I just want you to make it blurrier, and as it becomes blurrier and blurrier, and you're rubbing more and more Vaseline on it, it almost starts to disappear. And you notice any sounds that were associated, that they just start to disappear as well. And it's almost as if some earplugs have plugged into your ears, and that any sounds, any clanging, or any noises that were inside your head almost just get blocked out. They're almost like you put some earplugs in or plug some more Vaseline into your ears instead. You get this Vaseline all over the picture, and as you're smearing more Vaseline over that picture, it becomes so blurry that it almost starts to disappear, and the sounds start to disappear as well. And as they disappear, you notice that the sounds have disappeared now, completely disappeared. And as those sounds have disappeared, notice the feelings in your body, and they were encompassing
your whole body. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah. This is awesome. Even when I shrunk the picture down and I changed it to more of like a sepia instead of being technicolored, and I positioned it at the 45-degree angle, there was no more sound. And even now I'm smiling again, and I'm feeling much better.
Fantastic, Jenna. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so now that there's no more sound associated, and it's really blurry, and it's gone down to sepia, and it's it's really faded out now, very dim and very far away from you, and there's no sounds. And I want you to notice the feelings inside, and the feelings inside Jenna, and I want you to notice that those feelings were inside her whole body. They may have perhaps shrunk down to only encompass her torso, so from her hips up to her shoulders. And notice that as those feelings shrink and they go all the way up from her feet and they squeeze down into this one area in the torso, that as they squeeze into the torso area, just outside, 3 inches or so out, or 8 inches or so, just around that aura area of the torso, that you begin to feel happier, and that warm feeling inside as you just feel the feelings just encompassing that area of the torso. And notice that those feelings grow a little bit stronger, and as they grow stronger, notice that the entire picture just disappears. And as it disappears in a moment, just now you realize that that picture can disappear and that it doesn't need to appear unless you choose to do so, just disappearing now.
Great. What about if it disappeared like 10, 20 seconds ago when you were still talking, and then for a moment it became, like as it was disappearing, it became hard for me to focus and to listen, but I was still actively listening.
Yeah, that's perfect, Jenna. And all that is that's a signal that what we just did there actually made a shift with your unconscious mind, because the beauty is your unconscious mind can take in 100% of the information whether you're consciously aware of it. So even as you listen to me now and we go through and you hear my voice and you can picture our conversation, and the picture is that you had in your mind, even as it disappeared 20 seconds ago, your unconscious mind is still able to absorb the information and to take on what it needs and to discard what it does not need. So you can be safe in knowing that even as you follow me now, even if it disappeared earlier, that's okay too, because there are no specific rules as it relates to this.
I think I'm really in tune with and being I'm really open to your thought process changing. And I just think that I felt the warmness come over me, and I felt extremely happy, and then I felt it melt away a bit, and then it just disappeared. And I was listening to you, and you were talking, and something shifted in me, because I'm very conscious and I'm very alert. So that was a real change for me there. Thank you.
My pleasure, Jenna, and thank you. It's all that you're all making these changes yourself through decisions and choices that you're making, even on an unconscious level, if you're not consciously aware of them now. And what I'd like to ask you to do is I'd like you to just question, and notice if you can think about that old belief, that old thought, that the old picture, the old belief that used to be true, that when you sat down at dinner, that it was challenging for you. So as you think back to that old belief that used to be challenging, how do you feel now?
When you first started asking me to do this, my mind automatically kind of blocked it. Like I went to recall the moment, the image I had, and I got a block. And as you were talking, I was able to pull it out, and I have mixed feelings now. I'm not sure exactly how I feel. I feel excited and happy, but at the same time, I feel a little bit confused.
Okay, sure. And that confusion is just really an example of what we've done is we've just actually kind of taken Vaseline in a way and we've smudged out and made that old belief, that old perception, that old experience, even though it may happen in the future, you will perceive it completely different because it's now almost disappeared in the way that you used to think of it. And now thinking of that old belief is no longer true for you. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the next purple monkeys and giant waterfalls section of this of what I actually want to explore with you here. So now that that old belief is out of the way, what I'd love to do with you, Jenna, now is I'd like to, as you listen to me, I would like to ask you the question is, I'd like to ask you if you can think of a belief which for you is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Like, for example, the belief that the sun is going to come up tomorrow. Do you believe that the sun's going to come up tomorrow?
Most definitely.
Okay, fantastic. So as you think of the sun coming up tomorrow, do you have a picture?
Of the sunrise? Yes, I do.
Okay, is that picture in black and white or is it in color?
Very, very vivid color.
Okay, very nice. And is that picture really close to you or is it far away?
It's super close and just huge. Just way bigger than me. The sun was half my size. I know the sun is bigger than that in real life, but if you imagine looking at a picture where usually the sun is up in the top of the corner of the picture, I felt like the sun was half my size and it was bright orange. A bright orange sunrise. And there was beach. And I never go to the beach, so that's very strange.
Wow, beautiful. And so that sounds like it's a really bright picture, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
All right. So that really bright picture, as you notice that picture, whereabouts is it in your mind's eye? Is it directly in center or is it top right, bottom right? Where is it for you?
Directly in front of me, right in my face.
All right in your face. And you mentioned that the size of the picture is really large because the sun is almost half the size of you. So you would say that the size of the picture is very, very large. And as you notice how large it is, are you looking at that picture through your own eyes or are you seeing it from a different angle?
I'm standing directly in front of it, looking at it through my own eyes.
All right, must be really beautiful. And is that really crisp and clear and focused for you, or is it dim and defocused?
It's very crisp and clear.
Okay, really crisp and clear. Excellent. And is the focus changing for you, or does it stay, does it get clearer or dimmer or defocused, or does it stay the same?
It stays the same. Sorry about the background noise. My mom is here. My husband is here to help with my children. I don't know why they are so upset. But the picture is very clear. The lines, again, are very strong and bold.
Okay, great. If you need to address your kids, feel free to let me know, or that your husband is okay to take care of them.
I'm just going to take one quick second here to pop my head out the door and just to tell them that everything's okay. That usually helps to restore their balance.
Sure.
Sorry about that. I had them redirected to playing on the computer and playing on the phone. It's past their bedtime, but my family's in a little bit of a crisis with a member of the family passing away, so they're up later than usual. Sorry about that.
No, I understand. That's completely okay. So we were just, Jenna, you and I were just exploring the picture of the bright sun, and it was super clear and bigger than you, and the sun was almost half the size of you and really bright and really really large, that picture, and very, very focused and clear. And I just wanted to ask you as well, was that picture, as you bring it up now in your mind's eye, is that picture framed? Has it got a frame around it, or is it panoramic? Does it span all around?
It's not framed, but again, I don't have any vision on my peripherals, so it's not encompassing me. It's not going around me. It's kind of on the wall in front of me, and it's kind of imposing on me. It's larger than life, almost.
Okay, and is that a? Do you notice that picture? Is that a movie playing, or is that a still?
That's completely still.
Okay, sure thing. All right. Oh, wow, very interesting. And are there any sounds that are important?
There wasn't any sounds, but when you asked me that question, I heard the sound of seagulls.
Ah, seagulls. And what direction are they coming from? Are they coming from your left or right, or all around you?
They're coming from my right, above my
head. Okay, sure. And so, are there any feelings that are important? Do you feel anything as you notice that bright sun, and you notice that now? Do you notice any feelings?
Happiness, contentment, and comfort. I feel very comfortable.
All right, very nice. And whereabouts in your body do you feel those feelings? Are they in your chest or stomach or over your whole body? Where are they?
They kind of feel outside my body.
Okay, sure. And if you had to describe where they were outside your body, how would you describe them?
Kind of behind me.
Okay.
And kind of like in the shoulder area.
Okay, so sort of behind you and in your shoulder area, or behind your shoulder area.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. And what's the size of these feelings? Are they the size of your body? Are they larger, or?
They're about a foot. They're about a foot tall and like 4 or 5 feet deep, like long.
Okay, all right, sure thing. And the strength of these feelings, do they get stronger, or are they getting weaker, or anything like that?
They're getting weaker.
Okay, sure thing. All right, interesting. Okay, so I'll just get you to think of purple monkeys feeding each other purple bananas. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
All right. You're like, wow, that's pretty strange. Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So if that wasn't fun enough, what I'd like to ask you now, Jenna, is I'd like you to, as you described with me earlier in this call, you described with me that Christmas Day's come. There's that time when you feel content, when you feel like you're in the moment, when you just feel like you're at peace. That day, that Christmas Day, that one day and you notice that day. I'd just like you to bring up a picture. And do you have a picture for me now?
I'm sitting at my table, and there's a big turkey in front of me, and I'm feeling very happy. And I can hear Christmas music, and I can smell. I can smell pumpkin pie.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And tell me, is that picture in black and white, or is it in color?
Color.
It's in color.
All right, really nice. And is that really close to you or quite far away?
I'm actually in the picture this time. I'm actually I'm sitting. That's me.
Oh wow, fantastic. So it's you're actually in it. So it's very, very close to you. All right, very nice. And is the picture really bright to you, or is it quite dim? What was that there? Was that picture really bright for you?
Yes, the colors are bright, but it's the clarity is like foggy, like hazy.
Okay, sure thing. And what's the location of that picture as you're looking at it and you're inside it? Through your mind's eye, is it the center or top left or bottom right?
It's in the center, but I feel like it's a little bit displaced to the bottom left, just maybe like 10 or 15 degrees.
Okay, sure, interesting. All right, and the size of the picture, would you say that it's really large? You said that you're in it, so is the picture very, very large or is it small? How would you describe it?
Life-sized.
Life-sized. Okay. Excellent. You're looking at that picture through your own eyes. You're seeing it all through your own turkey and all those delicious smells. And the focus. You said that. Did you say that it was really, really focused? Right. And the focus clearer, or was it? Was the focus getting less clear?
It was becoming more hazy, like more blurry.
Okay. All right, sure. And was that a framed picture or was it panoramic?
It was more like 3D, like I was actually in the moment. And I think it was more panoramic.
Okay, sure thing. And was that a movie for you or was that like a still?
It was more like a still.
Okay, yep, sure thing. All right. And would you say that there are any sounds that are important on this Christmas day that you can notice from that picture?
There was some music in the background. I can't hear it any longer. I would assume it was just like a regular Christmas music. That's what I recall.
Okay, and what direction was that coming from? Like left or right or all around you?
It was coming from the right side, but more up near my head.
Okay, sure thing. All right. So almost like above you, huh? And to the right.
Correct.
All right, excellent. Okay. And are there any feelings that you can notice? Any feelings of you that you feel as you notice this picture?
I feel happy and smiley.
Happy and smiley. All right. And so that happiness, these feelings that you're feeling, where do you feel them in your body or outside your body? Where are you feeling them? What's the location?
In my stomach and all over my body, but the strongest is in the pit of my stomach.
Okay, and what size would you say that stomach feeling is? Is it your whole stomach or just a small area of your stomach?
About the size of a grapefruit.
Okay, sure. All right, and so it's a sort of like almost round, like a round feeling, yeah, like a grapefruit round size.
Yes, exactly.
And would you say that feeling, is it getting stronger or is it getting weaker? What is it, or is it staying the same?
It feels like the grapefruit-sized ball is like radiating, and it feels like it feels like the ball itself is becoming more intense, and the happiness is radiating through my whole body outwards.
Oh, okay. All right, excellent. So it's like radiating outwards. All right, fantastic. What I'd like you to do now, Jenna, is just noticing that picture now. And what I'd like you to do is I would like you to just make that picture a little bit larger now, that Christmas day. So stretch it out so it's a little bit larger for you. That's it. And you can just let me know once you've done each step as I share that with you. So just making that larger for me now.
Okay, it's much bigger than me now. It's Very, very, very big. It's starting to curl around my feet and around the top of my head. It's so big.
Okay, and if you need to shrink it down a little bit, that's okay. Just make it feel as real as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
It's shrunken down and it feels real.
Okay, great. And I'd just like you to move the location from bottom left. I want you just to move it into the center. Just let me know once you've done that.
Yeah, I've got it in the center.
Okay, fantastic. And I noticed that it was a little bit defocused and blurry. What I'd like you to do is sharpen it up, make it nice and focused, nice and crisp and clear. You want to do that for me now? Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was so big that it was so out of focus. I'm still shrinking it down right now and getting it to be really focused.
Okay, just let me know once you've made it really focused.
Yeah, I have it now.
Okay, great. And now that it's really, really focused and crisp and clear, I just want you to lock that in place. So make that focus so that it stays nice and steady and it stays focused. So locking that focus in place in whatever way that you need to.
Yeah, I had to open my eyes to lock it into focus, but I've got it now.
All right, great. And I just want now that you've got it right into focus and you've locked that focus so that instead of changing, it's nice and steady. It's staying nice and focused. And as you do that, I want you to notice that it is in 3D and that it's still nice and real for you. But I want you to almost pull it out of 3D to an extent, make it nice and panoramic, and not so that it's in your peripheral, but make it so that it's very large. Like it was, but just take away the 3D a little bit so that it's still really real to you, but without the 3D. So it's still large, but without the 3D. Okay?
Should I go closer to the picture, or is it okay that I feel like it's on the wall in front of me?
Okay, well, just make sure that the picture is really larger than life.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, great. So now that picture, I'm just going to really cement that in home for you as you listen to me now. It's nice and clear. You're seeing that from the center of your mind. It's very, very focused, and the focus is staying focused, and it's larger than life for you. And I want you to notice now just moving into the sounds that you notice. The sounds that you notice, of course, are coming from just to your right and just above you, and they're just outside of you, and you can hear that music, but inside that music you can almost hear some seagulls squawking. Just for some reason there's seagulls squawking on the song. Maybe it's a beach song, maybe it's Snoopy's Christmas or something like that, and you can just hear some seagulls squawking away.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, very nice. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you just to notice those happy feelings, and I'd like you to notice the comfort and the content that you can feel during that time. And I'd like you to notice that the feelings actually go. I want you to move the feelings from your stomach, push them all the way up to your chest, push the feelings back into the back of your head, and then have the feelings pop out the back of your head and just about a feet away from you, just sort of behind you, just at your shoulder height, and have them about 8 feet, in depth, and have them about a foot tall, and notice those feelings just outside yourself now, and notice that they're getting a little bit weaker, and just notice that they get a little bit weaker and lock those feelings into place now.
Okay, done. And also, there's now seagulls flying in the living room. It's awesome. Okay, great. The feelings are locked in behind me and behind my head. I feel them. They're getting weaker. They're almost going away.
Okay, fantastic. So I just want you to lock all of that entire image in now and just lock it all together as if you're snap locking it all into place so the picture comes together with the sounds, the music and the seagulls playing in the background coming from coming from your right and just above you, and the feelings are just behind you. Christmas Day, just about 8 feet deep and about 1 foot tall, and they're getting a little bit weaker, but you still feel that comfort and that content and that happiness, and what you see, it's nice and clear, very crisp and focused, and the focus is staying the same, and it's a nice, larger than life picture, very clear, colorful, and I just want you to lock all of that in place now.
Okay, got it.
Okay, fantastic, Jenna. Now, whatever you do, don't think of purple bananas and green snakes and all that.
Okay, I just.
Okay, you didn't think of green snakes, did you?
Yes, actually, I did.
Okay, so Jenna, now what do you believe? So now what do you believe about at the start of this call you mentioned that you used to have some challenges around that time of night later on in the day of eating time with the kids and these types of things, and you mentioned that you used to have some challenges and it was a bit of a limiting belief for you there and some negative feelings, but now thinking into the now looking back on that old belief, now what do you believe?
I don't really have a belief, but I feel very happy.
Okay, really nice. And let me ask you this: what do you believe about family dinner times now?
I believe happy. I know that doesn't even make sense, but really, I just believe happy right now.
Well, let me ask you this. That seems that's pretty interesting. Why do you believe that you feel happy thinking about the dinner time and that end of the day and sitting down with the kids?
I don't know, I just have this overwhelming sense of happiness and calmness, but it's like a giddiness, I could just start laughing my head off right now, and that's not usually a thought I have when I'm associating myself with mealtime, so that's really cool.
Wow, that's really cool. I mean, you tell me, how is that possible after all this time, of you having those repeated incidents with having those negative associations and thoughts with dinner time and that time of the day, or even just sitting down with the family and eating around the family? How is that possible that now you're able to feel giddy when you think about that time and feel happy and content? How is that possible?
I don't have those answers, and I don't actually want to pick my brain too long on that because I'm feeling really good about it now, and I think that how is it possible? It might take negativity. So I think I'm just gonna sit. My grapefruit radiating happiness is growing. I'm just awesome and empowered, and I'm not sure how.
Wow. Well, fantastic, Jenna. Well, hey, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Wow, fantastic, phenomenal stuff. So what I'd like to do is, after the call, we've now stretched our time limit way over. But hey, it was we needed to complete that part of the process for you. So hey, I really appreciate your participation and your. I think it's awesome the power of what you're able to do, Jenna, and the power of decision and choice, and that you're in that place now where you're completely ready to make all the choices that you need to empower yourself in your life moving forward now. So So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to wrap up the call. And but if you do have any questions, feel free to fire them over now. Otherwise, we'll wrap up and then we'll come back again and rearrange our next call through email, etc.
That sounds terrific. I don't have any questions for you right now. I'll be in touch with you. Thank you so much, Nick. I really enjoyed this session, and I look forward to sessions in the future.
All right, fantastic, Jenna. I just want to leave you with as well, I know that things are happening outside of you right now. Just always remember that you can control what goes on inside of you and how you react to what happens outside. And I'm sure that your family right now would need a rock, would need somebody who's, solid there. And I'm sure that you can be that happy place, having found that in the session here today and just discovered that, bring that out and made it part of your reality, part of your consistent reality each moment to moment. So, just keep that in mind as we wrap up this call and as you hang up and go out to support your family and be that rock there.
Thank you. And you know what else is interesting, Nick? I've been having some issues with my sciatic nerve flaring up, and it's been bothering me all day. And I just got off of the bed, and the pain is like completely decreased. So thank you so much, and have a great night.
Wow, fantastic, Jenna. Excellent. Well, hey, you have a great night too, and pleasure talking, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.